Salve, this is Dave. I am here on the Bible Gateway website thinking maybe you'd like to see something translated that's at least a little bit more sophisticated than Dicaeopolis and his rock farm. So I just thought we could go through one of the best known passages in the New Testament, a few verses here, and translate from the original Greek. Now, if you are interested in learning Greek, or Latin, or catching up in your Latin class, very common problem people have, especially if they're taking their kids to a new school. You can find me at the link in the description, and I am always happy to take new students of all ages, so feel free to drop me a line and name me, if you're going to sign up on the Wizen platform, just name me as your referrer using the email that's provided there. Now, here we have Matthew chapter 5, and this is the Sermon on the Mount, beginning with what are commonly known as the Beatitudes, because the first word of every sentence, right, that Jesus says is beati, meaning blessed. But in Greek, the word is makarioi. Makarios is the base form, but makarioi is plural, okay? And we're going to see him say that again and again and again. In fact, we're not even going to get all the way through all of these, but we'll just go a little ways here, okay? I guess we'll get through all of the makarioi. Okay, let's start at the beginning. First of all, we have this idon. This is a participle, and it means seeing, okay? And our main verb here is going to be anebe, and you may remember that in our vocabulary stack we have the verb anabino, and anebe is just the aorist third person singular form of it. So he went up is what this means, anebe. And so seeing tous ochlus, all right, that means I'll read the whole thing first. Idon de tous ochlus anebe eis to oros. So that means seeing the crowds, he went up onto the hill. Okay, so this, again, Sermon on the Mount, right? So there's a mount there, some kind of elevated geographic feature that he goes up on. Kai katisantos autou, pros elthon auto, hoi matetai autou. Okay, so the first part of this, the main part of the sentence is pretty straightforward, and it's these last words here. Okay, pros elthon means, this is actually in our vocabulary stack too, if you've been watching. They approached is pros elthon, and hoi matetai, the ones approaching, are the disciples. Okay, they're students, right? Matetai, and autou means his students, his disciples, and they approached auto, him. Okay, now what is the rest of this? This is what we call in Greek a genitive absolute. If you've studied Latin, you're familiar with the ablative absolute, but there is no ablative in Greek. So instead they have genitive absolute. This is a way of introducing a dependent clause about someone other than the subject of the sentence. So in this case, Jesus, right? Because the disciples are the subject of the sentence. So kai and katisantos autou, with him having sat, or with him sitting. Okay, this is the aorist participle, katisantos. And aorist often means past, but what it just means is it's something that it happens all at once, right? So, and with him sitting, the disciples approached him, or his disciples rather, approached him. So that's the first sentence, the first verse there. Okay. Kai an oixas to stoma autou, edidasken autus legon. Okay, so anoigo is a verb that's in our vocabulary stack already too. Okay, and that is, and opening to stoma autou, his mouth, that's what a stoma is. Edidasken autus, so Edidasken is the aorist of he taught autus, them, legon, saying. Okay, so, and opening his mouth, he taught them, saying, verse 3, Makarioi hoi ptochoi ento pneumati, hoti auton estin he basileia ton uranon. Okay, so Makarioi, I said that's blessed, right? Hoi ptochoi, and the ptochoi are the poor, and they are poor specifically to pneumati. So pneuma is a spirit, or like a wind, even like an air, like a pneuma, pneumatics, right? So the poor in spirit, the to pneumati is dative. So the poor in spirit is how this is usually rendered. And take that to mean what you will. I'm just here to read the Greek, but that's what it says. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Hoti auton estin he basileia ton uranon. For, okay, auton, genitive plural, of them, all right, estin is he basileia, the kingdom, ton uranon, of heaven, or of the skies, literally, right? And so it really is, when you read it generally translated, this is very, very straightforward, easy to literal translated Greek, right? And this is what's nice about the New Testament, is that the passages, the Greek is very easy to read. It's very simple and accessible because although people obviously disagree about a lot of things that it means, it's a language, the Koine Greek of the New Testament was a language that was created for, or sort of simplified for people throughout the various post-Alexander empires to speak as a common language. And so it's actually pretty easy for us to read today, easier than, say, going back trying to read a classical Greek philosophy or poetry. This is much more accessible. Okay, anyway, next beatitude here. Makarioi hoi pentontes hoti autoi parakletesontai. All right, so again, blessed, and who's blessed this time? And this is from the verb penteo. Okay, pentontes is a participle, the ones weeping. Okay, penteo is to weep or mourn. So blessed are those mourning, those weeping. Hoti autoi parakletesontai. So for they, okay, and then what about this long verb here? Parakaleo is the verb, and this is the passive future third person plural. The theta eta right in the middle of this word here, right there, okay, is sort of the giveaway that this is passive. And then it's they because it's untai, and it's they will because it's thesontai. So they will be, it's often consoled, comforted, encouraged, okay, accompanied even maybe, exhorted, right? Okay, so blessed are those who weep, for they shall be consoled. Verse 5, Makarioi hoi praes, hoti autoi kleronomesusin ten gain. Okay, that's a mouthful. Kleronomesusin. Interesting word, because we just, reading about Dikaiopolis, we just came across the word kleros, which means farm. And so this is kind of interesting because you got this root for farm and then this root for law, right? Kleronomidzo. Okay, and it means to inherit. I think I'm saying that right. I wrote it down on a flashcard here just to make sure that I learn it for next time. Sorry, no, it's kleronomeo. Okay, kleronomeo. Somehow this has to do with legally acquiring, inheriting, in other words, a farm. And so the idea here is that, okay, klero nome susin, that's future. They, third person plural, right? They will inherit tengain, the earth. So who will inherit the earth? Hoi praes, and this is the adjective here is the meek, the praus. Okay, but plural. So hoi praes, blessed are the meek, they shall inherit the earth. Makarioi hoi enontes kai dipsontes ten dikaiosunen hoti autoi hortastesontai. All right, a couple of big words here. Penontes, hoi penontes, this comes from, I want to say it's penao, just double checking that because I did write this one down. So they, blessed are those who are hungering, the ones hungering. This is a participle. Okay, it's penao. That's right. So the penontes are the ones hungering, and the dipsontes, if you are familiar with this old-fashioned term for alcoholics, they would be called dipsomaniacs, right? Thirst mania was what their condition was attributed to in the medical language, but dipsomai just means to, or sorry, dipsao rather. Okay, it just means to thirst. Okay, so dipsontes means those thirsting. So blessed are the hungering, those hungering and those thirsting, ten dikaiosune. This is what they're hungering and thirsting for, namely justice. He dikaiosune. Okay. Hoti autoi hortastesontai. For they, okay, and then this verb hortazo in the classical period, it means more like fattening up a cow or something, but by Koine Greek, it is simply that they will be satisfied, they'll be filled. It's talked about as having to do with human beings, and not just even filling them with food, but as in this case, kind of filling them with some kind of, something that's more of an ideal, right, of justice. Though they will get their fill of justice. Okay, and just to point out that hortazo, it's future because of the s here. It is passive because of the theta eta here. That's kind of your signifier for the passive voice. Okay, so they shall be satisfied, or they shall have their fill, something like that. Makarioi hoi eleemones. Okay, hoti autoi eleethesontai. So these two words here are connected. Eleemones and eleethesontai. And maybe, okay, if you're Catholic, you know what this is, but maybe you remember the 1985 song by Mr. Kyrie eleison. All right. These two words are both, this one actually is the verb eleeo, which means to have mercy. All right. And this one is a related adjective, meaning the merciful ones, or I guess it's a verb, but it's a substantive adjective, right? Hoi eleemones, the ones being merciful. So blessed are the merciful. Hoti autoi eleethesontai. So this means, again, passive, the theta eta, right? They shall be shown mercy, or they shall, mercy will be had on them. Because it's passive, and it's future because of the s here in the ending. So eleeo becomes, in its passive future third person plural, eleethesontai. Okay. Next one here, makarioi hoi kataroi te cardia, hoti autoi tonteon opsontai. And you may remember that we have the verb horao in our stack, and opsontai is its irregular deponent future tense version, opsomai. This is the third person plural of that. So they shall see is what that verb means there. And what will they see? They shall see tonteon, they shall see God. And autoi is just they. So for they shall see God. That's the second half of the sentence. What does the first half say? Makarioi hoi kataroi te cardia. So if you're familiar with the idea of catharsis, right, it's like a cleansing. The katharoi are the pure, okay, and they are pure te cardia, in heart. That's dative for the pure in heart or the pure of heart. Sometimes it's said, right? The name Catherine comes from this word for pure or clean, right? Blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. Makarioi hoi eir. Oh man, we've gone 15 minutes. Maybe I better cut it off there. We can continue another time. But let me know if you like this. If this is something you want to see more of, we can continue. And also let me know. Contact me if you want to learn Greek, you want to learn Latin, you want to catch up in your class on one of those. I can help you out. We will. You'll be doing great at this within a couple months, depending on how intensive you want to get with it. Thanks, and until next time, Wale.